Welcome back to I Accidentally Married a Filipina. My name is Rob, but this is not my story. This is Tom, and this is his story. I had retired from the Navy after 30 years with a good pension and found myself restless and lonely, so I got a job at Home Depot in the flooring department to kill time in San Francisco. While in the Navy, my ship visited Subic Bay almost by accident and only briefly very early on in my career, and I really enjoyed the area around Subic Bay, and the people were so pleasant and laid back. As we sailed out of port, just looking at the coastline as we were underway made me think that this is probably what was meant by permanent vacation. I'd always been fascinated by different cultures, and of all the places my ship traveled to, this was the place that intrigued me the most, and for some reason, as I sold luxury vinyl tile at Home Depot for 7 hours a day, 4 days a week, my mind kept drifting back to those beautiful beaches and slowly swaying palm trees of the western coast of the Philippines. Just to tie up some loose ends, I was married for 14 years of my 30 years of service, and we had 2 sons who are currently serving in the Navy as well, and I will not speak poorly of my ex-wife in this forum except to say that she was not cut out to be a Navy wife. Having said that, I dated a little here and there when stationed in port for any extended length of time, but nothing stuck, so at this point in my life, I am not held down by any ties that bind beyond my thrilling job in home flooring. I lived on my pension and banked my Home Depot proceeds just in case of an emergency, and one day that emergency happened. A fellow about my age came in for some carpet for his house, and he was renovating and couldn't make up his mind. Just pick the beige, I thought to myself. They always pick the beige. After 30 minutes of deciding between 2 shades of beige, he had to consult his wife. 10 minutes later, she shows up, and they both get my attention. Actually, his wife got my attention. She was petite, long black hair, dark brown skin, and eyes, a big smile, and way too pretty to be with this beige guy. I recognized that nose and eyes as that of a Filipina, and I was immediately transported to my short time in Subic Bay, and a feeling of excitement and calm washed all over my body as his wife looked over the carpet choices and chose gray. "Great choice," I said to her. "I will write you up." After another fulfilling and rewarding day in floor coverings, I went home to my empty apartment and my empty refrigerator. I ordered a Little Caesars pizza and got set to wallow in my loneliness, that is, until I remembered the Filipina I saw at work today. I jumped on my laptop and searched Subic Bay to see what was happening there these days. The base closed down in 1991 and has been built back up as a tourist destination, as has the rest of the area around it, had as well to some degree. Before I knew it, I had just killed 4 hours looking at everything I could find that was Subic related and decided to look at plane tickets just in case I decided to spend some of my Home Depot money. I went to sleep and woke up from my job, and with every step of the day I dreaded it. Why wasn't I on a beach in the Philippines? I put in my time. I had the money. I've traveled the world on a ship. I'm no rookie. I couldn't take it anymore. I punched out and handed my apron to my boss and thanked him for the job, but said I had a health emergency and would not be back for the foreseeable future. I wasn't really lying, because if I stayed there one more minute, I would have a mental breakdown. I got home and booked a last-minute flight, leaving in 48 hours, and set about to getting my affairs in order, as I planned to be gone for a month. I took an Uber to the airport, and a short 18 hours later, I was departing the plane in Angeles City Clark International Airport. I exited the plane and immigration and was smacked in the face with how different my surroundings were from back in the day, but how nice and beautiful the people still were. I got a grab taxi to take me to the Central Park Reef Resort in Olongapo. This place is really first class. Beautiful pool, and my room was right on the beautiful beach. The restaurants and bars were just what this old sailor needed to relax and unwind. I only booked this place for 3 days, as I wanted to be available to move around if I so desired. I checked in and immediately put on my swim trunks and headed for the beach. I did a fair amount of swimming and walking the beach and just exploring the beachfront. I felt every care I had in the world start melting away into the ocean. I grabbed a quick dinner, had a couple of cocktails as I sat facing the beach, watching the sun go down and thinking, this is the best decision I have ever made. When I woke up, I got into a tricycle and asked the driver to take me to a coffee shop. He shook his head as if he understood, and as it turns out, he truly did understand as we pulled up to a decent-sized establishment aptly named the coffee shop. The coffee shop is attached to a hotel but looks like its own entity. I went in and ordered an Americano and a Filipino pastry of some sort. The girl at the register took my name and I went and sat down. Moments later, a very attractive Filipina brought my coffee and pastry, and both were very good. I sat by the front window just watching the Philippines world go by, and my server, whose name tag said Mary, came back and asked if I wanted anything else. My coffee was empty and I didn't want to take up her table, so I ordered a refill and watched more of the Philippines roll by. Again, Mary came by, and again I had been sitting too long, so I asked her how the food for dinner was. She said they were famous for their jumbo tacos. I laughed and thanked her with a 100 peso tip for taking up her time, and she seemed happy with that. I left and walked over to SM City Olongapo and wandered around and just soaked in everything I could. I ate lunch at the Jollibee on the way back to the resort and took a nap and woke up for some more swimming. Once again, I watched the sunset over the hotel and ate dinner by the pool. I was to stay at the resort one more day, so when I woke up, I walked over to the coffee shop for an Americano and an American breakfast. 2 eggs, scrambled, toast, hashed brown potatoes, and bacon. The food was okay, but the price was fantastic. Very affordable. Once again, I got caught up in the people watching, and when I realized it, I called Mary over and asked for another Americano. She brought it to me with a smile that could warm an Eskimo's heart. I guess I hadn't taken the time to check her out, but she was attractive. Petite, smooth skin, and no wedding ring. Not that I was looking for any romance, but old habits die hard. I tipped Mary another 100 pesos for taking up her table, and she smiles really big and asked if I'm coming back for supper. "We have jumbo taco," she exclaimed, which made me laugh, and it made her giggle as well. And I said, "Maybe so, but I like watching the sunset at my resort, but I would see her at breakfast tomorrow." This did not make her smile, but I continued my day of exploring and ended up with a cocktail and a sunset beachside. I really liked the resort, so I booked another week and headed to the coffee shop. I wanted to tell myself the coffee is that good, but really I just wanted to see Mary smile again. Mary brings me my pastry and Americano and pauses as if she wants me to say something. I fumbled for something and said, "I'm sorry I missed the tacos last night. How were they?" She looks me dead in the eye and without emotion says, "Very jumbo," and then laughs so hard she has to cover her mouth with her hand and went back to the coffee bar. I thought it was pretty funny too, and I thought it made her even more attractive to have a good sense of humor. Time for me to go explore, and a 100 peso tip for Mary, and she questions if I am ready to try the jumbo taco for supper. Again, I say maybe so, and left to head out towards the boardwalk to see what I can see. As you can tell, I am a creature of habit, so I once again find myself with a cocktail and a sunset by the pool, but I just can't shake the visual of Mary proclaiming the jumbo-ness of the coffee shop taco, so I jump up and walk over to surprise her.
My name Mary Bell, but everyone call me Mary since I am small child. My father work a janitor at SM Mall and my mother a maid for a city official. I am 29 years old and too old for men to care about. I work in coffee shop and on weekends I clean rooms in attached hotel. I have my own room with my parents' home. I work many hours to keep from lonely feeling. Sometimes I go shopping or to the beach with my friends, but most have a husband so they don't go often. I had a boyfriend in high school, but he joined the army and traveled away. I had one more boyfriend when I was 25, but he left me for younger woman. This made me cry and hurt feelings, so I try to work a lot. One day I am working and a foreign come in to get coffee. He just sit and take my table for 3 mornings. I think he is rude, but he leave good tips, so I forgive him. I think he is old but still guapo, so I make joke to see if he will talk me more. I'm not thinking about a foreign, but I am too old enough to be choosy for a Filipino. I invite him back to coffee shop for supper, but he never comes, so I stop having schoolgirl fantasy of foreign men wanting me.
I walk over to the coffee shop and walk up behind Mary and ask her to bring me a jumbo taco and a beer, and then I show myself to the table. Mary brings my jumbo chicken taco and a bottled water and says, "Enjoy jumbo taco," which makes both of us laugh. The jumbo chicken taco did not make me laugh. It was terrible for many reasons. I had a few bites to not be rude, and Mary asked if I like it. I said not so much, but what about a beer? She said no beer, it is a family restaurant. I muster up my courage and ask her if there is no beer here, would she like to come and get a beer with me? I was not quite ready for her response.
I am working at supper time in coffee shop and give up on Tom. I think foreign men too full of themselves to be with old maid. I am not old maid. I still have my beauty and I still have my character, and I would make good wife to any man, but I never get chance. Tom come to my back and surprise me with jumbo taco order, and I am shocked, but I turn to happy quickly. I hurry to place taco order and take it to Tom. I will not let him have bad time with me. He have bad time anyway because jumbo taco is taste like cat food. I think to myself, it is over again because of cat food jumbo taco. I will never win. He then asked me for to leave and have beer with him. My shift not over, but I go to owner and beg her to let me have this chance with this foreign. I never know when my next chance will ever come. She say okay, and I run out to Tom and I say we go now. We can have beer. He asked where I want to go and I say where he watch sunset even though sun already gone.
I was half joking when I asked Mary out for a beer. I thought there was no way she would leave work just to hang out with me. Honestly, she is 26 years younger than me and another 26 years better looking than me. Immediately my radar is activated and I start looking for red flags as we walk down the boulevard talking, and I try to politely ask questions as I dig for the real reason she would want to be around this crusty seafarer. Nothing jumps out as an issue, and as we are walking up to the resort, Mary brushes my hand and then intertwines her fingers with mine. I feel a rush of adrenaline that almost makes me pee my pants. What is happening? I feel like a schoolboy who just got his first kiss. I roll with it as we find a table by the pool and order some beers, just as I had promised. We had a good time talking about everything we could think of. It was starting to get busy and a small live band was setting up. Mary leans into my ear and asks if we could go to my room to talk. She said she felt uncomfortable in such a nice resort, still wearing her hot pink work uniform. I hadn't even noticed. We went up after collecting another round and entered the room. Mary commented that the rooms at her hotel were not near as nice as these. We went out on the balcony and overlooked the beach and each searched for something to talk about. She tells me about her family and her job, and I tell her the same about me. We are getting in that awkward area of wanting to know more, but not knowing what to say, so I leaned in for a kiss, and to my surprise, Mary kisses me back and then says it is getting late. She must get back before her parents worry.
I make very brave with Tom. I do not want to lose this chance, so I act away from my character. I know foreign is very fast and will only play with Filipina, but I must have courage and try my best. We go to his hotel. It is very nice. Many rich foreign there. I feel shy because I am in work uniform and other women dress nice. I ask to leave pool to his room. We talk and talk until he kiss my lips. This make my heart flip, but I cannot stay longer and lose my character. If he leave and take my character, I will be shame to my family, so I leave for home and hope he still want me tomorrow.
Being a creature of habit, I of course went to the coffee shop in the morning, and before I could sit down, Mary was there with my Americano and pastry. She said she was so happy I returned and she had so much fun last night. I agreed with her and ate my pastry and drank my coffee. Seeing her made me happy, as I hoped it would, so as I was leaving, I asked her out on a real date so she didn't have to wear her uniform. Tomorrow was Saturday and she would not work at the hotel, so we could go out. She said she would meet me at my hotel at 10 a.m. Mary knocked on my door and was wearing a wrap covering a modest swimsuit, a bucket hat, and oversized sunglasses. She looked like some sort of Philippines movie star. I said, "I guess we are going to the beach?" She said yes and no. We take a tricycle north up the coast a bit to a place called Inflatable Island. There is a beach-type resort with huts and lounge chairs and places to eat and drink, as well as an island made up of inflatable obstacle courses, inflatable climbing mountains, and giant inflatable slides. We had a blast. Mary was a pretty decent swimmer and showed a lot of courage going up and down the mountains and slides. It was a lot of fun, but it was really more geared towards young people, so we had our fill of the inflatables and went to eat lunch. After lunch, we swam in the resort pool, and Mary stayed really close to me the whole time, sometimes even to the point of wrapping her arms around me to hold on. I found this very enticing, as I am starting to see a more mature side of Mary, and it is really making me feel a certain kind of way. A lot of sun and a lot of swimming was taking its toll, and I suggest we head out and take a short rest at the hotel and then out for dinner. We arrive at my resort and go to the room, and I shower quickly and put on shorts and a shirt and lay down on the bed to watch TV until Mary is done showering. I must have really exerted myself earlier, because the next thing I know, I'm waking up and Mary is dressed and it is getting dark out. I apologize and she says it's okay, but she's getting hungry, so we go out of the hotel and into a Longapo for a nice dinner. We head down to the boardwalk and settle on a Korean barbecue resto bar that is open to the night air. There were many people walking hand in hand past our table, and the dim lights made the night feel special. Mary looked great in her sky blue sundress with her shoulder-length black hair, dark brown skin providing a stark contrast to any woman I was used to being on a date with. It seems as though things were moving quickly, but in reality, it was just me imagining different scenarios in my head, as we had only held hands and kissed once, but it seemed like it had been more than that. More like the beginning of a deep connection. We went back to the hotel and held hands and kissed more than earlier until Mary excused herself back home to her parents' house. In my past dating experience, things moved much, much quicker, but as I thought about it, I considered that something as good as Mary should be worth waiting for.
Tom started taking me from work every night for date. Usually we walk down boardwalk for date or into city for supper. We always have fun, and I falling in love with Tom, and I think he love me but not say. On weekends we go to beach or hike to waterfalls for day trip, and we never argue. I think Tom a good man. We only have one more week, and I hope for Tom to meet my parents and propose me. I think maybe I should lose my character to make him love me, but my character is my most precious that I have. So I will wait for Tom to propose me.
Going swimmingly with Mary, she did not seem to mind that I was a creature of habit. In fact, I think she liked it because it gave her a sense of trust, or even a sense of stability, which was fine by me because habits make me happy. My time in the Philippines was coming to a close, and I was dreading leaving this paradise and heading back home, and I could see it in Mary's eyes as well. I was leaving Monday, so this last weekend would be spent at her parents' home getting to know the family. It took us about 45 minutes of a grab ride to get to her parents' place. I don't know why I thought they lived in the city, but they lived on the outskirts where the city met the province. Their house was made of concrete block, and some parts were made of bamboo with a metal roof. I had not been inside a house like this and wasn't sure how to react just based on the exterior. Her parents came out and shook my hand, and her mother hugged me and invited me in. The interior was like you would see a prison cell in an old movie that would run late at night. Gray concrete everywhere except where there was bamboo. It was very clean and very tidy, so it didn't bother me at all. I had to understand where Mary grew up and try to enjoy her culture. Nothing really remarkable happened over that day and a half except during our last dinner when her mother asked me when I was going to ask her daughter to marry me. I almost choked on my pork adobo. I looked to Mary for help, but she was only looking at me waiting for the answer just like her father was. I said I really liked Mary, but we had just met and I lived in the United States. I didn't live in the Philippines, and this seemed to satisfy everyone but Mary. To say the grab ride back to my hotel was a frosty one would be an understatement. We stopped at the pool to watch the sunset, and after a beer or two, Mary summoned the courage to broach the subject, to which I said, I'm not against working in that direction, but we just met. Mary said I had put my tongue in her mouth, and that ought to count for something. That made me burst out laughing. I didn't mean to, but she did take offense. Mary didn't stay the night with me, but did show up for the trip to the airport in the morning. I didn't make any promises, and she cried and cried until I was into the airport and couldn't see her cry anymore. It says part 3, but there's no part 3. Mary's going to talk, and then Tom will start again.
I cry in the car all the way home from T airport. I know this my only chance at a foreign, and he don't propose me. I loved Tom for 1 month, but he do not love me back. I think I am just unlucky old maid and will work in coffee shop in my old age. After 2 days, I message Tom, but he don't message me back. I wait and wait, but no message. I think he is bad foreign and only want to play with me. It make me more and more sad.
I had a lot of time to think on the flight home, and Mary really could be the one for me, but we have really only just met. The plane touches down in California, and I get out of customs and head out the main exit to order an Uber, and I cannot find my phone anywhere. I am forced to take a taxi home, and when I get there, I tear my luggage apart searching for it. It was nowhere to be found, so I go to bed and decide to handle this problem when I'm not so wore out from jet lag. At the phone store, they find my account, and luckily I had the insurance, and they would disable my old phone and ship my insurance phone to me within 2 business days. It is not like I had to call my job or anything, so I waited for my free phone. In the interim 2 days, I went about whatever business I could think to take care of, but without my Home Depot job, I had nowhere to go and nothing to do, so I just went to the mall or to the park or the beach, but all of those things seemed so boring. 3 days ago, these same things seemed fabulous in the Philippines, but who knows? Maybe I just got to get back into the swing of things. My phone arrives and I set it up, and I had a few messages from a very upset Mary. I messaged her back that my phone was lost, but now I have a new one. She seemed skeptical, but video called me. It was very awkward, as I know things were not left to her liking, but she was in a spot I was not ready to go to. So to make a long story less boring, over the next 6 months, I missed Mary terribly. We spoke every day, twice a day, and I decided to sell what few assets I had and got my pension and my banking set up to work in the Philippines, and I moved there. I got off the plane and proposed to Mary right there in the airport, and we wasted no time getting the paperwork done and got married at the courthouse with her parents in attendance. We got a nice condo in Olongapo, and Mary kept her job for now, but only 3 days a week, so we could travel at our leisure or just walk the boardwalk or hike the waterfalls. Oh, and Mary will definitely quit her job next month when our daughter is born.